everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I want to share with you some of the knowledge that I've learned over the past year of playing Animal Crossing. You may still be relatively new to the game, and these things are definitely things that I've picked up from trial and error. So decorating, building things can take a long time, so I just want to share with you 10 different ways that I've kind of picked up little tips and tricks that I use to kind of speed up the process so it doesn't feel so daunting and you can get on to that next area and maybe help finish your island that little bit quicker. Some of these are real basic stuff, so if you are a bit of an Animal Crossing pro, they might seem a bit dumbed down for you, but there are new players to the game every day, so we need to share the love for everyone. But either way, I hope at least one of these things you can take away from the video and you can find it super helpful for your future builds. So I'm going to get started, but first of all I just wanted to say that normal YouTuber thing. If you're new here, then please remember to subscribe, and if you like the sound of this video, then please remember to click that like button. So let's get started with number one. For number one, I want to talk about this green pipe. This pipe was introduced with the Mario update, and although I'm not a massive fan of all of the Mario furniture, this is one item that I cannot live without now. It speeds up the process of getting around your island, and it makes it so much easier when you're building to be able to just pop back in the pipe and go back to your home and grab stuff out of your storage. So what I do, as you can see here, is I put one of the pipes down where I'm building, and then I'll put one down in my house, and then if I need to grab something, I'll quickly just go, oh, here's that life ring that I really need. So I can just pop back in my pipe and we'll be back where we were to begin with. And I just feel like it was a great addition to the game, and perhaps maybe not what they intended it for, maybe they wanted it for fun and games, but it is an absolute lifesaver when you are building. This isn't something that I used immediately. It was actually when I did my first stream that you guys were all like, please use the pipe, remember to use the pipe, because I was just constantly running back to my house because I'm very forgetful. So I hope maybe if you've not considered using it, then you can take this tip away with you. So for number two, I've come out to my mailbox, and that's because each day you're given the option to purchase 5 items from your Nooks catalogue. Now, this may seem a bit of a strange thing as to why that will help me speed up my process, but I actually think it does help, because the more items that you've got available to you, the more options that you have, and therefore the quicker it will be to fill up those areas. I tend to order 5 items a day, and I tend to stick to stuff that I know that I will use lots of. So you can see here I've got life rings, lacy parasols, things that I use a lot of. Seasonal furniture is also a good one because they only come around once in a while, so stockpiling those. I've got lanterns and things like that. These are all things that you can just have and leave in your mailbox. You don't actually have to put them in your storage unless it does get a bit full. But yeah, I just like to leave them in my mailbox, and if I ever think, oh, I really need that, then I'll go check my mailbox and see if I've already ordered it. The bonus as well is if you keep ordering stuff, then you will get the Nook shopping app in your phone once you order over 100 items, and that makes it so much easier to order stuff, especially if you're out and about building. Then you can be like, oh, I remember I really need that anatomical model, so I must order it from my catalogue now, and it saves you going all the way to resident services, accessing the ATM, and it just feels that bit quicker. Not sure why you would ever really need an anatomical model urgently, but there you go, you do you. So that's just another little tip that I have for you guys, and I definitely find that helpful for when I'm building stuff. For number 3, I want to talk about what's in your inventory. Now, I'm terrible. I love to have a messy inventory with random bits of stuff that I've collected, maybe a picked flower that I got last week, and that fish that I had to catch as part of my Nook Miles quest. Don't know why I keep hold of them, but I do. When you're building, you want to make sure that you have enough space to carry all of those items that you're going to be wanting to put down for your build. So I only try to carry a shovel, fruit, a ladder, and then here I've just got my garbage bin and my DIY workbench, which I'll put down later as we cover in the video. The shovel and the fruit is probably the most important for me because I love to move trees around. I am never happy with their placement, so it takes quite a lot of time to kind of get them right for me. So those are some really, really important things. There's no need to be carrying around a fishing rod with you when you're building. Those random tools that you're not going to use, you just won't need. I mean, maybe you could use an axe if you want to have some tree stumps or something like that, or you don't have any fruit, then it could be handy. But really, really keep it to a minimum so you're not maxing out that capacity. For number 4, I would like to suggest that when you're building an area, especially if it's quite a large area, to plan out what items you're going to need. So for my next speed build, I'm going to be making a waterfall, so I need quite natural looking things. So I've got things like log stools, stone stools, log stakes. Not sure why I would need a barrel, but you know, there's a barrel there. Hashtag barrel core. Wind turbines, just stuff that kind of I know that I'm going to be using in that particular build. I like to grab them. I did go through a phase of placing down the items as well for my speed builds because I felt that that really helped me visualize how I was going to build and how things were going to come together. So there's a tip for you as well if you think that that might help you. But overall, I think just have an idea about what you're going to need, maybe get them crafted or ordered as we went over in the last tip. So you've got them there, they're ready to go, and you know where you're kind of going furniture wise. Maybe you've got things that you want to match up, maybe you've got a particular theme, so just a matter of keeping to that. For number 5, I'm going to talk about crafting. It can be quite time consuming when you're making lots and lots of items, you're customizing items, getting them all ready for your build. Now, most of you may know this tip, but if you don't, then it will be a real game changer for you. So I'm just going to go into the crafting table. Let's just craft something totally random. What should we make? Let's make a ukulele. So when you click the crafting button, yes, let's do it. And then if you press the A button, it should speed up the process for you. So it does make maybe a marginal bit of difference, but every little helps. And if you can speed up the process in any way, then it's a great tip to use. For number 6, I'm going to talk about custom designs. As some of you know, I absolutely love to use custom designs here, there and everywhere, and I really think that they're a great way to enhance your island, make it a bit different, and include lots and lots of colours and patterns to your builds. Now, when I created Laurel under this new theme, what I did was I went through and I planned out roughly what kind of custom designs that I would want to use on my island. So I saved probably maybe half of the ones that I use now, and then I left quite a lot of open space because I knew that I would want to add some at a later date. And having these custom designs already pre-selected has definitely speeded up the way that I build, because I know that those are ones that go together really well, and what looks great, what kind of blankets are my go-to, what I use for fillers, and also hunting Pinterest for new custom designs, hunting through Instagram, Twitter, etc. It all takes a lot of time. So if you really have your custom designs nailed down, it makes it really, really quicker to decide which pattern you're going to use, which rug you're going to use for that particular area. And I also think it helps your island be cohesive. Maybe if you don't have a particular theme, this might not really apply to you, but for me, with my whole kind of seaside coastal theme, it's definitely helped continue that blue feel throughout the island. For number 8, I would suggest carrying a bin round with you. I know this sounds a bit odd. You don't even have to carry it around with you, just maybe have one close to hand just for when you need to tidy up stuff, maybe get rid of some flowers, get rid of some weeds, just things that you don't really need, particularly if you're working on an area that is overgrown. I know I have lots of spots on my island where the flowers have gone a little bit haywire, so I just need to kind of clean them up and make sure that they are no longer in sight, because we don't want that. So the bin is definitely a winner. My next tip will kind of tie into this a bit more, because you can set up like a workspace or whatever works for you, but bins are definitely a lifesaver, and they do speed things up because you don't want to have to run to Nook's Cranny or end up putting random stuff in your storage that you just don't need. Next up is number 8, and along with the bin being a great thing to have close to hand, the next thing is a DIY workbench and also some customization kits. Now the customization kits you could just drop on the floor next to the workbench, so you've got them there when you know you're going to craft something and you don't want it to be in that particular color, so you're saving on your inventory space, and that might be a room for another little bit of furniture that you need for your build. So this is really crucial for if you're maybe making lots of DIY recipes and you want them close to hand. I just think it's a great tip to have a little workbench nearby. For number 9, I've put my hard hat on, and that's because I'm going to talk about terraforming. Terraforming can be really frustrating, and especially if you're trying to clear down a particular area, then it can be quite time consuming. I think the best way to kind of deal with this is to try and find a way that works for you. There are definitely some tips and tricks out there as to how to terraform a bit quicker, but this is kind of my main one. If you have an area like this, try and go for the middle one, so you're not having to hit a particular area twice like this. If we went with the edges, it would end up rounded and then we'd have to do it all over again. That's not the best way to do it. You want to stick to the edges so it just takes one hit and then that particular block is gone. Again, it's probably only a marginal thing, but if you're doing a massive area, then that time really does add up. And especially if you're like me, who likes to rebuild cliffs accidentally, then I definitely need that help. Next up, it's time to talk about some more planning. So for number 10, I want to talk about planning out villager houses. So not just villager houses, any house or building, because it can take a long time to move them. Maybe you have to time travel or wait until the next day for the villager house to move before you can start decorating properly. So one way to save time and money, which is very important when we have Tom Nook around, is to plan out where you're going to put that particular house. Now you can find out the sizes of the houses online. There's lots of different options there, like Resident Services is 12 times 10. Don't know why you would need to know that, you can't move that. But the residence houses are 4x4, your home is 5 times 3, just things like that to give you an idea of how to do it. So when I'm planning out where I'm going to put a particular house, what I like to do is use the custom designs, and I'll leave one space just so you can clearly see the blocks. So this one would be 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block. So if it was my house, we would do 5, so there's a 5, and then times 3, so we would leave 1 and go down like that. And again, just repeat it. And then when it comes to getting your kit and planning out what you're going to put around it, you know that's how big that house is going to be. So you don't want to put anything too close to it, otherwise it will get demolished when you place it. And also it gives you an idea of how much room you've got to play with. And if you don't like it in that particular area, maybe you want to move it over to the left a bit more, then you can just knock it down and we'll pop it here. So how much quicker is that than actually having to physically wait 2 days for your house and then wait another 2 days if it's not in the place where you want it. This is great advice also if you're planning on doing a neighbourhood. Get where you want to put your houses down first of all before actually going ahead and moving them. That's what I did with this neighbourhood and also my other neighbourhood. If you want to see how I made them, then be sure to check out my speed builds for those areas. They're all on my channel. So guys, I think that's a wrap. I've covered 10 different ways that will hopefully help you speed up your building process and maybe keep your love for Animal Crossing that little bit more alive. I hope you found them helpful, and if you can take away one of these tips and tricks, let me know in the comments which one was the most helpful. Have you got any tips and tricks that will help speed up the process for the other users? I would love for you guys to share them in the comments below. Just a reminder, if you've not already, please remember to like the video, and we'll see you again soon with another one. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.